Over the past 10 days, the past fortnight, one has been listening to this very strange, which I thought was the Indian rhetoric, but it turns out after the Indian Prime Minister's speech yesterday that this is supposed to be the new normal, that the Pakistani state and people and that the international community has to accept. Let us see what the Indian narrative post Pahalgam is. So it starts with, what's your proof against the Pakistani state that it perpetrated such a horrific tragedy as Pahalgam in India? What's the proof? Have you caught the perpetrators? Are you sure who they were? Do they have any links with Pakistan? Or you have cobbled together some people who you will say came from Pakistan? Did the Pakistani state give a nod to you? The Chief of Army Staff's speech a few days earlier was for national pride. It was to assure the overseas Pakistanis about Pakistan. It had got nothing to do with India. It just stated the 1942 nations theory. And it was also a reaction to the Jafrabad Express carnage, which none of my Indian friends or the Indian state or the Indian society chose to condemn. We are expected to condemn Pahalgam. We do. It's a horrific tragedy. I call those Indians who lost their lives shaheeds, according to me. Did you condemn the Jafrabad tragedy? The tens who lost their lives? No. So it was a reaction to Jafrabad that a group of terrorists won't be able to take Balochistan or to create instability in Pakistan. But let's go to the Indian narrative. We ask them what's the proof. They start this weeping bullies history. There was a Mumbai. Let's cross Mumbai. There was a Pathankot. Let's start from Pathankot. The Pakistanis came to investigate, then they conveniently forget. The Pakistani investigating team concluded that we had nothing to do with Pathankot. So why do you bring Pathankot? Every terrorist incident that takes place in India or in Jammu and Kashmir is Pakistan inspired. You yourself have done so much research on local discontent, on local mujahids or local insurgents, if you might say, because mujahids might trouble you. So every tragedy that takes place, so there was a Pathankot, the Pakistani team went to investigate. Then there were 3 years. 3 years later, there was a Pulwama. The person who perpetrated Pulwama on you had never been to Pakistan. That boy who was insulted daily in his daily course by our security forces chose to seek revenge, and I condemn it. But still, for them it was a military target. You have killed almost 100,000 people in Jammu and Kashmir. So do you think they are not humans? They won't take umbrage at what their mothers, sisters, fathers, brothers. Do you know about the weeping widows? Do you know about the half widows? Do you know about the mass graves? I want to tell the international community that the Jammu and Kashmir they tout about, it has mass graves. It has women who do not know where their husbands were. It has documented torture centers in Jammu and Kashmir all throughout its last 20 years history. Have you heard the word state terrorism? So why bring Pakistan into everything? Why don't you look inward? Why don't you introspect? So the theory goes, there was this Pathankot, then there was Pulwama, and then there is Pahalgam. Tell me, what's your proof that Pulwama was perpetrated by Pakistan? None. He was a local boy. There are tons of literature on local militants in Kashmir. You have absolutely no proof that Pahalgam was Pakistan. And just to take your story and like it. So in 2019 there was a Pulwama. Till 2025, as per your weeping story, your weeping bullies narrative, there was no terror attack, right? So in 6 years, you did not give Pakistan any certificate of not touting or not so-called planning terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir or in your country. 6 years were not enough for us to get a certificate, right? And during these 6 years, what have you done to Pakistan? Why do you miss out the Pakistani side of history? Do you remember there's a chap that we have, a spy. His name is Kulbhushan Yadav. He wears a suit. He wears pants. He's very cool, calm. When he comes on and talks to the world about the plans he had to create terrorism in Pakistan and Balochistan and all across Pakistan. We gave you sound recordings where your officers are creating terrorism in Pakistan
at the behest of RAW and deteriorating law and order situation in Karachi.
The BLA has no links to you. BLA families are in India. BLA perpetrators of terrorism in Pakistan are in India, funded by India. Have you heard of the Samjhota Express? It was burnt. Pakistanis were burnt by state terrorism. Have you heard of the gentleman called Swami Asim Anand, which all of India thinks perpetrated the Samjhota Express attack? Innocent pilgrims going forth to and fro, Pakistanis and Indians. Have you heard of the Gujarat carnages? Your Prime Minister, what was he called before he became Prime Minister? Why was he denied a visa to all civilized countries? I do not want to tout history here, but because your weeping narrative, it starts with history every time. So therefore, fill in the history honestly. And I'm surprised, except one or two individuals, ad verbatim, you relate very selective parts of history. So in response to Pulwama, you did a Balakot. You shot at trees, your famed Air Force. And in response from our own territory, we shot your plane down. Why do you forget that? The riposte from Pakistan. Just like you have your doctrines, we have swift retort as well. So instead of providing forensic evidence, you have this theory that any wrong that takes place in Jammu and Kashmir or India is perpetrated by Pakistan. You know, what Muslims have been protesting against in India. Remember the citizenship bill in the history? Should I show you pictures and videos of the protests? Should I show you the Waqf bill protests?
लगेगी हमारे सफे रुकेंगी, करेंगे इंशाअल्लाह। तो आप क्या करेंगे? आपको मालूम होना चाहिए कि शाहीन बाग बना होकर इस मुल्क के अंदर वो आवाज बुलंद करे जिससे मुल्क।
आप निकालिए, गाड़ी निकालिए भैया, गाड़ी निकालिए, कौन गाड़ी?
Citizenship Act brought on by Pakistan? Was the Waqf bill amended by Pakistan? This government, which is not only an external bully to its neighbors, is also an internal bully. It has bullied a narrative which I'm afraid is now accepted and touted by people like Shashi Tharoor, by Shekhar Gupta. I'm shocked. Once in Washington, there was this Mr. Sardesai. He came. I absolutely respect him. But when I see him now shouting his head off, the frenzy, the anarchic frenzy that you raise, most of it lies. That's the internal bullying that has been done. And you have become now a victim of your internal narrative. So remember Samjhota Express, remember Balochistan, remember the killings that your state has perpetrated in Pakistan, in Canada, in the US. And the Americans and the Canadians and the Pakistanis and the Sikh community is well aware of it. You have been killing people extraterritorially in other countries because you are the judge, jury, and executioner. You decide who is at fault and you go and kill them. And you blame Pakistan. You should look inward before blaming Pakistan. Pakistan had nothing to do with Pahalgam. Pakistan had nothing to do with Pulwama. And that Sky News journalist who you keep quoting again and again for Khwaja Asif. Khwaja Asif Saab was referring to Mujahideen. Look at the pictures of the Mujahideen in Washington DC, the liberators of the free world. When the free world walked away, we had them. And because they could not take atrocities in Afghanistan, they could not take atrocities in Kashmir also. And when you were creating that mayhem, atrocities, extrajudicial killings and rapes in Kashmir, you think that the Kashmiris in Pakistan and in Azad Jammu and Kashmir would remain oblivious to their relatives being butchered there? The Pakistani state did not have to do anything. Look at your own policies first. Let me show you some pictures from the atrocities in Kashmir. You remember Kunan Pashpoa, I think, the village where women from 7 to 70 were raped, and it's authenticated international news. You think there would be no reaction in Kashmiris or in Muslims? So your internal bullying of Muslims, because you are both an internal bully and an external bully. So your attacks on Pakistan after Pahalgam had nothing to do with terrorism perpetrated by Pakistan. This was your internal narrative which you have become a victim of, that Pakistan is a failing state, it would break apart. The Pakistan army is not liked by anybody. The COS is unpopular and it's militarily so weak. And your narrative yesterday by the Prime Minister ignores and lies about the ground realities. Yes, your missiles hit here and there. They could not touch our assets. If they did, kindly show us a plane that was downed by them or by your Air Force. Your Air Force, I respect your Air Force. I respect your armed forces. I respect your Foreign Secretary. I respect your officials who were performing their duties. I condemn the bullying of the Foreign Secretary. Very, very decent. He conducted himself very decently. But kindly look at your internal policies. Look at your internal subjugation and destroying everything that your Muslim community stood for. Look at that. Mr. Paul Kapoor is going to, a very respected academic, is going to advise President Trump. In his writings, he has said that Pakistan had nothing to do with origin of the Kashmir insurgency. It was the ineptness and atrocities of the Indian state. And then he says Pakistan became involved. Again, I'd like to tell everybody, the Pakistani state did not have to. No self-respecting nation can take killings, rapes, can take sub-Gaza like situation. Okay, you don't believe that there are 900,000 soldiers stationed in Jammu and Kashmir. I will not contest that. 500,000, 600,000. Just calculate that with respect to the streets that they are in Jammu and Kashmir. I'm calling it Jammu and Kashmir so that you are not offended if I call it Indian occupied Kashmir. Your Jammu and Kashmir, which your side of Kashmir. Do you think it's a normal situation? Do you think 5th August 2019 was created normalcy there? Have you seen some of the videos taken by our conscientious journalists after Pahalgam? Has anybody in J&K, your J&K, condemned Pakistan? Mr. Sardesai was begging people there, condemn Pakistan. They did not. They did not condemn Pakistan. Some of them who expressed their fear that they would be picked up after their interviews told you that tourism does not replace national honor, does it? So what will you do in the future? So if there is a terrorist attack in India, and if you decide, your executive decides that it's a good time to attack Pakistan, you will attack Pakistan. So should we also get our guns ready to attack where you keep the families of BLA in mainland India? Should we also become judge, jury and executioner? Chance is less, your chance is more. Why? It's not because of the veracity of the terrorism question. It's because you trying to become an external bully. You want to bully Pakistan. That's part of the ideology of your ruling party. That's what Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah and Ajit Doval stand for. When you relate history, very neat, Mumbai, Pathankot, Pulwama, Pahalgam, you forget the Doval Doctrine. You forget your declared killings in Pakistan. So what did Pakistan do this time? It asked you, hold an inquiry by who you like. We will cooperate to stop the threat of war. You had this narrative that what did we do in Pathankot? So you starting running on a country. You say you decimated terror infrastructure and you show these neat satellites. Why do you believe that the world and Pakistanis are so dumb? So if there is a house where a Hafiz Saeed or somebody else lived, he would be living there. And you say terror launching pads. Do you think humans are missiles? Do you think there is a software in these houses where you put a man and he comes out a terrorist? You think that the family of somebody accused of terrorism is neat game to kill. Right? The brother is responsible for the brother. The children and weeping boys and girls are responsible because according to you they were born somewhere which you think perpetrated terrorism on your country. Give me a break. Most importantly, India is too great a nation to fall into this trap. This is a trap. This is a trap that has led you down the hole in the last 2 weeks. Your Air Force is almost grounded. Why don't you tell the world that? It was an aerial battle. How many jets were down? And I'm not gloating. There's nothing to gloat about it. Your Air Force is good. There is a chance that sometimes in the future you might also put a jet down. But is it necessary to wage a war on a false narrative? We did not do Pulwama. We did not do Pahalgam. We did not do Pathankot. Again, look at the images. Look at the images of what you have done to Muslims. Anybody, and you've had your own narrative that there are local, because of your atrocities, there are local organizations who rise against the state. When President Musharraf gave his 4-point formula, and earlier when Prime Minister Vajpayee met Mr. Nawaz Sharif, when the two statesmen met, and today I am honest enough to agree that Kargil was wrong. But Kargil was a reaction to Siachen, to other posts. You just gobbled up Siachen. You don't want to tell the world that. So Pakistan bent backwards from its narrative in Kashmir. All of you know very well that President Musharraf really hit on those organizations which we also thought were liberating Kashmir. With great difficulty, they turned against us. So the only way forward is not through meaningless talks. I think Pakistan should not insist on meaningless talks with you. Is to bring humanity to Kashmir. Is to investigate who did Pahalgam. Was Pakistan involved or not? And is to be honest about the jets, about who had aerial superiority, who had missile superiority, who went to the Americans. We did not go running to the Americans. Maybe neither did you. So stop accusing us. Stop belittling Pakistan. Pakistan is not what you say it is. Pakistanis want peace with you. Don't become a victim of your narrative. Don't be a weeping bully, behaving like a weeping bully who's lying, who's lying while relating history, and who's bullying people inside India. Stop being a bully. Be a responsible state. We are not going to agree to any of your new normals. All of Pakistan disagrees with it. Please give us a break and give yourselves a break.